Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have news about Donald Trump's sinking popularity. Good news. So, Donald Trump just got hit with one of his worst polls yet, and he's sliding in another poll that's usually pretty favorable to him. And as with other recent polls, voters are turning on him on all of the issues that helped to put him back in office. So here's the latest. In a UMass Amherst poll, this was conducted at the end of July. Trump's approval rating is underwater by 20%. So check this out. Overall, they're saying he's down 20%. So UMass made this graphic, which in my opinion, is backwards. It should be the other way around. But on the right, you guys can see here, his April numbers were much better. He had a 44% approval rating in April and 51% disapproval. He is now, as you see on the left, at only 38% approval and 58% disapproval. So we've got 30s, guys. We've got 30s. Now, this is essentially what we all know, right? Only his Kool-Aid drinking cult members, they're the only ones that approve of what he's doing right now. Independents and conservatives, true conservatives, disaffected Dems who just took a chance on Trump, they are now regretting their choice. And I have more evidence of that. So the UMass Amherst poll shows that Trump has lost 10% of his approval rating among independent voters just since April. Just in a few months, 10% have ditched him. In April, he had a 31% approval rating with independents. That's now down to only 21%. Truly, utterly pitiful. And they said that even among Republican voters that they polled, only half said that they strongly approve of Trump. And then check out Trump's approval rating on these issues. And for those on the podcast, I'm going to run through these for you real quick. So let me bring this up. So on the topic of inflation, only 31% approve, 63% disapprove. On immigration, 41% approve, 54% disapprove. On jobs, 37% approve, 55% disapprove. In regard to civil rights, only 32% approve, 58% disapprove. On tariffs, only 31% approve, 63% disapprove. And as you all know, tariffs just went into effect today, so prices are going to go up. And then in regard to his handling of natural disasters, 37% approve, 53% disapprove. But as we've seen with other polls, the thing that's doing the most damage to Trump is this Jeffrey Epstein cover-up. So check out these numbers. So this is just so telling, so great. 63% of respondents say that the Trump administration is hiding Epstein information. And 71% still believe that there is an Epstein list, that there is a client list out there. So I mentioned this the other day in the video about the Epstein polling, but this is worth noting again. As you guys can see, or actually I don't think it's not on this graphic, but 81% of the respondents in this same poll blame Donald Trump for hiding the Epstein details, for hiding details about this Epstein case. They blame Donald Trump. Now, obviously, that has to include, by virtue of how numbers work, that includes many of his own voters. And then the UMass Amherst poll, they also asked if these voters believe that Trump is honest. So they asked all of them, I meant to say, not just Trump voters, but they asked, do you think Donald Trump is honest? And it went about as you'd expect. So a plurality, 49%, said that he is very dishonest. 20% said he is somewhat dishonest. So a total of 69% who think that Donald Trump is either somewhat or very dishonest. And a combined 65% said that Trump is either somewhat or very corrupt. So, again, that has to include some of his own people. Also, 52% said that Trump is not at all transparent. So a majority, 52%, say he is not at all transparent, which is very funny because his base likes to call him the most transparent president ever. And the UMass Amherst poll shows Trump losing men, which, as you guys know, that was a very reliable part of his base. So the co-director of the poll, he said that Trump, let me see, I think I have his quote here, that Trump has cultivated a masculine reputation and sought to build support among American men. But strikingly, we find that support for Trump has deteriorated most substantially among members of this group. In April, Trump enjoyed approval from 48% of men compared with 39% of women. Now, only 39% of men express approval of Trump compared with 35% of women. So, again, he is pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel with his supporters at this point. I think it could go a bit lower, but not much. I'd have to dissect the numbers, but if I had to guess, I'd say his hardcore base, the real Kool-Aid drinkers, the Kool-Aid alkies, they're probably around 30 to 35% of the country. And here's the thing that I really want to delve into. So this UMass Amherst poll found that 86% of the Trump voters that they surveyed, so not 86% overall, but 86% of the Trump voters said that they would vote for Trump again if they could go back in time. 6% of the regretters said if they had to do it over, they would vote for Kamala Harris. So remember, Trump only won by about 1.5% over Harris. So the fact that you have 14% of Trump voters now saying, no, I would not vote for him again, if I had a do-over, that is huge. So, I mean, for everybody who's out there going, oh, 86% would still vote for him again, I don't care. Concentrate on the 14%. Right? Even if a large number of that 14% just sit out the midterms, Republicans are looking at a wipeout. They are looking at an insane amount of losses. And we also have to factor in pride and ego, because if 14% are willing to admit that Trump wasn't the best choice, you know that number is higher. Right? Humans by nature are loath to admit that they made a mistake or they're wrong. Most people don't have enough character. They don't have enough strength to do that. So anyway, I have another poll to share with you guys. The Morning Consult poll is usually more favorable to Trump. They're not as bad as some of them, but they are definitely typically a little more favorable. But even their poll shows that his approval ratings are definitely eroding. So let me bring up this next one for you. So Trump's overall approval rating with Morning Consult is now at 45%. His disapproval is at 52%. So this has changed, not just since he took office, like it has completely reversed since he took office on this Morning Consult poll, but also it's been eroding over the last couple months. And you can see a pattern in these polls among independent voters in particular. So Trump's down to only 34% approval, as you can see here, with independents, and 59% disapproval. 34%. And remember, in the other poll, it was 29. So this tracks. This is becoming a pattern. And just as with the UMass poll, 14% of Republicans, as you can see here, disapprove of Trump. Now, where Morning Consult breaks with other pollsters is in regard to the issues. So take a look at this one. Whereas, Trump's underwater on all issues in many other polls, he's not doing as bad in this morning consult poll. So, as you guys can see here in this graphic, he is still above water on immigration. He's also still above water on national security, but he's breaking even on foreign policy. He's breaking even on energy. And then, in regard to the economy, for those on the podcast, he's at 43% approval, 49% disapproval. So he's underwater on the economy, again, in a poll that's usually pretty favorable to him. On taxes, he's at 42% approval, 49% disapproval. On Medicare and Social Security, only 41% approve, 49% disapprove. I mean, look at healthcare. Only 39% approve, 51% disapprove. And this is before the changes to the Affordable Care Act kick in. That's not going to kick in until next year, and millions of people are going to lose their health insurance. And he is already so underwater on this. So it's not looking good for the Republicans. And yes, I'm smiling. Like I said, if there's a red wave, it's going to be their blood in the streets. So, and I don't mean that in a violent way. I'm talking about, politically speaking, it will be a political bloodbath. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.